Wait, guys, I have another one for you. Okay. Good morning, you guys. Thank you for showing up. I love doing these Saturday morning lives because it gives me a reason not to oversleep, okay? I have to at least be up by 11 to get in here at 11:30, okay, and do these lives. Um, have some things I want to go over with you. As you guys know, there's a lot going on in the news, and I don't know if it is because of the pandemic, but a lot of things have happened over the course of this past year and a half. It's just been a lot, um, including Governor Cuomo's resignation. I was so bummed by that because he is absolutely my favorite governor. And because I've studied him so, I have I have an issue, you guys. I know I'm a woman. I know they say you should automatically believe women. I don't believe all women. I know women who have done some shady shish to men. I do. I'm not saying they are all lying, because especially the one who refused to go back to work. I'm always very analytical. I was like, okay, maybe she didn't really refuse to go back to work. Maybe someone paid her not to go back to work because they wanted to set him up so bad. Why would a governor who comes with the familial, and that's family, for those of you who don't know, I just like to say, I like saying long syllables, even if I don't know what they mean. But he comes from a heritage of politicians. He is in the footsteps of great men in his family. Why would he just go rub a woman down somewhere after knowing what was out there about Trump and what was known out there about Clinton and what was out there about other politicians? Am I the only one to believe that he would not be so shady as to do something like that? Just go rub a woman down? I I digress because I don't want, my fellow women of the world to be upset with me and my thought process on it. But it's saying here, I want to show you something, because this was also very interesting to me, that he would be entitled to so much money. Um, can you guys see that? I don't know if you can see it. But it talks about what he's entitled to. Can you even afford to live in New York after this? After his resignation, he's entitled to an annual pension. As we know, most politicians, if they resign, they are entitled to pensions. Also, he has some books and royalties and things like that out there about him. But he's entitled to $4,222 per month. And this is coming from MSN, Fox News, actually, and it's also coming from the Empire Center, which is a New York-based, they call it think tank. That's what I'm reading here as you guys are reading it. Um, so he may have to leave New York if that's the only thing he's going to be relying on, but I don't think that it is, you know? I don't think that it is. I just I think sometimes that's why people run for governors and they run for senators and Congress people, because they know that when they leave that office, even if they don't win, you guys, even if they don't win, they're entitled to a certain amount of funds every month for the rest of their life, you know? Um, so that's that. The other thing that I really wanted to talk about this morning is the pandemic. What do you all think about the pandemic? There was a YouTuber, Amazing Polly, and she had literally about 500,000 subscribers, or it may have even been a million. And something happened to her channel. They took it down. She went someplace else for a while. Now she's back, but she's having to start from scratch. And it's Amazing Polly. She is the one who 2 years ago, because I've been listening to her for about 2 years, even though I'm not really down with her, I'm not really down with people who are into certain ideas about Trump, right? Because there are things about Trump that I do agree with. I do not agree with the way he went about those things. For example, I agree with what he did with China, right? I agree with that. But I do not agree with how he handled police brutality and racial profiling, right? But Amazing Polly introduced me about 2 years ago to an event called Event 201. And that's where the um, World Health Organization had an event, and they were discussing this coronavirus before it came out, before January of 2020, which is when we all began to hear information about it. And then it became really serious in March, and that's when everything shut down in March. Um, it's awfully funny how, and I'm not discouraging anyone from getting the vaccine at all. In fact, I believe I'm not saying that the disease does not exist. I believe it does exist. My father died of it, so definitely exists. And he died of it just this past April. What I am saying is, I believe it is a bioweapon that came out of China. I believe that it was engineered. And I believe that the place in Wuhan where it was engineered, they knew what they were doing whenever they put it out. All of these cold wars that the countries have been having, the United States, China, Russia, Israel's involved, Europe is involved with their Brexit process and everything. All of these cold wars that have been happening between the countries is what caused, in my humble opinion, that bio war to to be pushed out into the world and to cause the havoc that it has caused. And China knew the risk of doing it. This is my humble opinion, you guys. They knew the risk. They just wanted to get to the US. They also knew the risk of it happening in their country, because even before the pandemic hit in March in 2019, it was somewhere around October, in Asia, people were wearing masks. They were wearing masks all over the place. I recall it being reported, and they were talking about what was going on. So things were already happening beforehand. And I say all of that to say that it is awfully funny. Remember, when Trump was in office, he took away funding from China. He said, the US doesn't owe you this amount of interest and we're not paying it. So he put his foot down. Now, that business aspect of him, I like. He looked at the numbers and he knew something was wrong. I completely concur with that. And notice too, at that time, the virus started to dissipate. It started to dissipate. That is why things started opening up right before the election. And then after the election and Biden got in office, oh, okay, the other thing that happened with Trump was Trump defunded the World Health Organization, which Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci are closely related to. Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci go back over a decade. They've known each other. In fact, Fauci's wife is involved somehow with the vaccinations as well. Um, so people wondered why they kept hearing Bill Gates, who is supposed to be a computer technology guru, always talking about vaccines. He makes his money off of vaccines, you guys. Let me see if I can find this article here that I was just looking at. If you notice, though, whenever, and I'm just putting two and two together, and this is all alleged, okay? I'm just putting two and two together just based on all the things that I have read about and seen. And Trump defunded the World Health Organization. He also practically defunded China, saying we don't owe you that amount of interest. And he put some stipulations on them as well. So the vaccine thing started opening up. People were able to go out, very little, but more so than when the vaccine was first ignited, right? Then Biden gets into office, and you fast forward to today, Biden gave back some of those funds to the World Health Organization. We start back hearing Bill Gates' mouth on the news again and Fauci again. And he also is trying to replenish the relationship with China. And what do we have now after that? The Delta virus. The Delta virus. Whereas everything was supposedly getting better, defunding World Health Organization, defunding China. Trump is still in office. He gets voted out. Biden gets in, starts back giving funds to the World Health Organization and giving funds and replenishing the relationship with China. And now we have the Delta virus. I'm just talking about my thought process here. I'm not saying any of this is written, but you know how it works when you read a lot and you have a lot of information. That's why it's important to read a lot and have information so that sometimes you can bring the whole picture together, that you can bring it into what is actually happening. And that's kind of what I've done with the pandemic. Now, granted, the vaccinations that the Food and Drug Administration has really just started to talk again about the vaccinations. And they've agreed to having children vaccinated, I think at 12 years old, going back to school, those who are going back to school and that kind of thing. Before this year, though, the Food and Drug Administration was not saying a whole lot about the vaccinations. They were waiting to see how everything panned out because they cannot really pass this until you have people who have been actually going through that process so that they can see what the results are. That's how they get their results. That's how they approve medicine and approve vaccinations is they have to see people going through the process. So everyone who has taken the vaccinations are in testing. Um, so what do you all think about the vaccination? I wonder if these are these same two trolls that come on here all of the time. So I'm talking to the people who are going to be coming on after the video because sometimes after the video I see the numbers rise very little, but I do see them rise. And but the two people that I always see on here, the two trolls, they show up almost before I get here. It's like they are looking for everything that I do. And one of them asked me about my other channel. So I sent you the link to my other channel. Okay. I sent you the link. You two trolls. That's what you are. Google. That's who I think you are. You're either Google or you are my employer, which you could very well be my employer. People coming over here who ain't got better else to do. I don't want you here, first of all. If you are a troll, leave. Okay, for real. I want people here who are here because they enjoy the show, and I digress on that. I want to talk to you about another YouTuber that I've been listening to on the Delta virus, and her name is Michaela Peterson. She has something called Michaela Peterson Podcast. It's Mikhaila, and her podcast number 77. She had a doctor there called Dr. McCullough, and he talked about the vaccination and how he also agrees that it's a bio war. I was listening to him and I was like, oh my goodness, uh, me and the Dr. McCullough are in agreement because I've been saying over a year that it is a bio war. And, remember Trump had put stipulations on China because they were charging too much interest to the US. He put those and it just comes back full circle that now that the World Health Organization has been financed again from the US and we're trying to mend relationships with China, now we have this thing called the Delta virus. And to me, that sings that someone is trying to depopulate and make money. That's what I'm getting from it. Depopulate and make money. That's what it boils down to. Now, everything that is done up to that point is very complicated. You will have to do your own reading and your own research. So I digress on that. I just wanted to, talk about the virus from that perspective. And I want you all to tell me what you all think. You can get down in the comments and tell me what you think about the Delta virus, just based on what you've read or based on your experiences. What do you think about it? So, do you all remember George Bush? The second one, not the first one, not the dad, the son, but the son. Remember, he had set up a process to remove American troops from Afghanistan. And there were dates and periods of time where that was supposed to take place. So fast forward to Biden being in office, and Biden does that, right? He goes in and he says we're going to gradually pull the troops out of Afghanistan. At first, I thought he was pulling them out of Afghanistan because we were preparing for a real war between the US and Russia. At first, that's what I thought was going on, that he was pulling them out to prepare because he sees where this thing with Russia is going. with regards to Syria and Georgia and just and Israel and a whole bunch of things. I probably need to do a special segment on that. But just briefly, this week they are considering sending some troops back into Afghanistan because the Taliban they are taking advantage of the country because they knew the timeline that the troops were supposed to leave. And they have the backing, you guys, of Russia. That's what they don't tell you. They have the backing of Russia. That's why they're fighting so hard. I would talk on this longer, but I don't have any comments on it, so I'm just going to digress with that. I see the two trolls are continuing to just stay in here. I hope you're getting your ears full. And let me just tell you, you're a piece of crap. Anyway. So remember I shared with you as well a couple of weeks ago about Kyle. Well, let me not do that yet. Have you guys heard about Britney Spears? Let's see here. I think that that's been out there all week about Britney Spears and how her dad has agreed to step down. So I was reading a little bit of that this morning, and it says, this is from NBC Today, right? It says Jamie Spears, the father of pop superstar Britney Spears, announced plans to step down as her conservator, but it's unclear when he would do so. The next court hearing is set for September 29th. A lawyer for Britney Spears has already nominated a certified public accountant to take over, but a recent court filing makes clear that Jamie Spears plans to contest the request. So that's kind of duplicitous because he's stepping down, but he's going to contest the request. He is really trying to hang on to this. I think Britney Spears' attorney got in there and scared him a little bit because they're going to be looking at how he handled the money. So he got a little scared. So that means, you guys, he has something to hide. And he says, and this has been the thing that sticks out to me right here, Britney Spears' father agrees to step down when the time is right as conservator. When the time is right, that tells you he's trying to hang on. If anything gives him any urge not to give it up, he could go backwards because he's not coming fully. And I'm one of these people, I'm trying to understand why this court is not being more expedient about this process, because any other time, if there is a criminal on trial, they give them a quick and speedy trial. So why are they just hanging on to this thing? I'm not getting that at all. It just seems so politically motivated. And I feel bad for Britney because Britney was at one point, you guys, worth over $200 million and it's down to 60 million. I can't even get over that. And they're saying her dad only gets about less than 200 grand a year for being her conservator, for being over her conservatorship. So where did the money go? I don't blame her. I would have stopped performing as well. I don't think anyone should be over her money. I don't think Britney is any less capable of handling her own money than any other actor or actress out there who is splurging. It just all seems so unfair. It does. And I just pray that God opens this up for her and gives all of this to her, gives it all her control, and has her do what she will with it, with the help and advice, of course, of her attorney, who seems to really care about the process. So this is an attorney I don't think that will misguide Britney. He is highly reputable. And you guys, one moment, I have to take a sip of my Starbucks coffee. Mm. I love me a decaf caramel macchiato, a little extra drizzle. I love that. I love it. It's so delicious. Mm. You know, I can't call this live Saturday morning coffee with Breezy if I don't have my own coffee, right? um, so here's some Real Housewives updates as well. Let's see. You guys are familiar with Kyle Richards on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Well, Kyle is going to be in a Christmas movie. They have just finished shooting the movie, and she says here, almost done shooting. I have had such a great time making this Christmas movie. You all know how much I love Christmas. Making a Christmas movie is a dream come true. I have been so fortunate to work with such an amazing cast and crew. I cannot wait for you all to see it. And it's coming soon, you guys, at Peacock TV. So this is a Christmas movie that is going to be on Peacock TV, and that's an app that you will have to download. You can even go to um, what's it called? Oh, I can't. You can go to bravotv.com actually, and when you go to bravotv.com, the Peacock app will come up, and you can click on it and go ahead and download it, and so that you can watch the shows that come over there as well. A lot of people do not like having to watch the shows from an app. I don't mind it because I know that it is just simply television trying to keep up with technology. This is the direction that it's going to be going in. You see how we are all over here on YouTube. They are saying that YouTube gets more views than television nowadays. Television is struggling to get even 1 million views in many cases, you guys, for their shows. And you have all these millions of people over here on YouTube. So I digress with that. So that is it. Let's see if there's anything else. I don't know if you are familiar with Deshaun Watson, but he has been accused. He is the quarterback for the Houston Texans, and he's been accused of sexual harassing like 22 women. And the grand jury is investigating it. That's according to Yahoo Sports. So that's an update for you as well. And I mean, there's a lot of this going on. A lot of this going on with high profile men. And I think it's important now, women. I think if we have sons, and I do have a son, but he's in his 30s, okay. Um, it is important. And even I talked to him about this, period as well, because he has a position of astuteness where he is. And I think it's important for him to be careful about the women who come around him as well in the office. But now they're working from home as well, so he doesn't have to worry about that. But I think it's a good time for women to start having these conversations with their little boys about being more respectful when they are around women, so that this is something that is instilled in them, and when they grow up to be men, it doesn't catch them by surprise. I mean, men are literally going to have to put up video cameras in their office when they're meeting with women. They're going to have to do that. They're going to have audio recordings. I believe in that. I audio record my job all the time, every day. I have so many videos that my system is overwhelmed and I've had to send them to a cloud. But you're going to have to start doing those things in the workplace because people are dishonest. And sometimes people say things about you that are not true. So I digress. I'm not going to stay any longer because it seems to be no one in here right now except either the Google or the Go Health trolls. That's all that's in here right now. Trolls, trolls. And I don't want to give my time and energy to that, but I did want to give my time and energy to people who do click on the video after it is done. And you guys remember I have a workplace chat that I go to on Thursday nights. I also have a podcast that I've set up with a different company, and I will be sending that information out to my subscribers. I may not announce it on here, but I will be sending that out to my subscribers, and so that you can come over to the podcast. I may turn that podcast into a workplace chat so that people will have to pay to come in and talk about it, and that will keep out some of the trolls who are not willing to pay. Um, or then again, they may be if they are Google or my employer. I'm going to talk about you guys every time I come on here because you are the devil. You are Satan. You are the people who will not be in the kingdom. So I digress. And anyway, I'm going to put this up here right now. Okay. And hopefully you guys will like, subscribe, and click the notifications bell. And I have a workplace right now. My workplace chat takes place Thursday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can come over there. Or if you're not having workplace issues and you have something positive to bring or resolutions, that is acceptable as well. Additionally, if you know people who have workplace issues and they want to put them out, out here, um, I welcome that definitely because that's why I opened up the channel. And I plan to have an attorney who does employment law over there, someone that I know personally. And so we will take it from there. But I want you to join me there on Thursdays at 9:30, and even join me here. I'll be back tonight with the Love and Marriage Huntsville. Or I may do Love and Marriage Huntsville in the morning. That comes on OWN, so that's Oprah Winfrey Network, and it comes on generally. They will have some of the repeats that start airing, I think, at around 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then they have their new episode that comes on tonight. And you can join that show and then come on here and watch me review that show as well. Thank you to all of my 803 subscribers. I'm so sorry that many of you have not been getting the notifications. A lot of people have said to me that they have not been getting the notifications. And I don't know why that is. They say they have them on and they're not getting them. I digress. So that's the news today. It's not, not a lot, but there's also not a lot of people here. So um, I digress. And I'm going to go ahead and play this. And you guys, I will see you in the next one. Okay. Have a good day.